All right, Adam.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you
I'm
for
really
having me.
excited. I'm really excited about today because
So
I know you have some insight in what the market has been doing. Tell me, how long have you been in the business?
Yeah, I've been in the business since 2018, so we're on 7 years finally, but 3 years full time.
Okay.
So I was a part-time agent to start.
3 years, started rocking and rolling.
Started rocking and rolling.
Okay.
Threw right into the storm.
But you saw back in what we would call kind of the crazy 2020, 21 time.
Yeah, absolutely. Due diligence through the roof, multiple offers, quick as you could be. You had 8 minutes to submit an offer. I've stood on my head and submitted them. I've sent them at the park.
Yeah.
You know, sent them at
Throwing the
school
dog,
lines.
whatever they
Like,
want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah. You want a free pizza with our offer? It didn't matter.
We'll throw it in.
You know, yeah.
So are we still doing that today? Now?
Actually, I just accepted a backup offer. So we are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What does that depend on? Tell me how would you describe the market? Let's start first with buyers. So how would you describe the market for buyers right now?
I think for buyers, if you are ready, willing, and able, and truly in the market, it is important to be ready to buy your house. Being ready, meaning once you find it, placing a good offer, coming in strong, being prepared. I'll give you a great example. We just won one $10K over list, but we used $15K in seller concessions, and it appraised $5,000 over our offer.
Okay.
So there's still opportunities, and we won in multiple offers. And
Wow.
it took an agent to, like myself, to think about, could I see the comps? Could I see the value? Is it underpriced? And it's that home. There are 10 other homes still for sale in that neighborhood right now.
That was the one they wanted.
That was the one they wanted. It hit all the boxes they've been looking for. We've looked at 10 or 15 houses. They didn't find the perfect one. 6 or 7 months we've been on the road. And finally that was the one. But then again, multiple offers.
Interesting. So you just mentioned something. You were on the road for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, atypical, or would you say for buyers right now?
For buyers right now, I feel like it's a much longer sprint because the inventory is coming up, but it's coming off. And so it's only slowly coming up, and then it's kind of still not the best things either. It's not the perfect home. Something's missing in the check boxes. So, you know, it's taking a little bit longer. It could be the location.
Something
So,
like
yeah.
that, yeah. So buyers, what I hear is that we have a little more inventory. So are they able to look a little bit longer, not have that, oh, I need to see 3 houses and make a decision?
I don't think they need to make 3 houses and make a decision. However, if it's a house that they're really excited about, they need to go. And the great example is like that backup offer I accepted. Agent made a little bit of a mistake, didn't let us know she was sending an offer in. We took an offer because in this market, as a seller, if you've got a ready, willing, and able buyer and you get a strong offer, it's time to take it.
Yeah.
You could make a mistake, and I've had it cost tens of thousands of dollars price reductions later because we didn't jump on it.
Okay, so you just talked about price reductions. Let's go into a little bit with sellers.
Yeah.
What does that look like right now? Because you just mentioned a lot of different things.
So
Some
many
multiple
things.
offers, some backup offers.
Some
then
sitting for 160
Yes!
days. Yeah, it's so home specific. I think buyers are looking for certain things. Like we're saying on the other side, is as a seller, we staged the last one. It was prepared heavily, marketing, videos, all the things that we do on every home. And the buyer had been looking in that neighborhood, and that home finally came up, and he was ready, and we knew that he was motivated because he had seen all the other stuff and knew the neighborhood really well, and he was ready to go. So we, it was our timing was right.
Yeah.
There's still 2 for sale today.
So
Outside of
why
ours, with
do you think
multiple
that
days on
is?
the market.
Why are those houses sitting? You mentioned a couple different neighborhoods where you're still seeing stuff sit. What do you think the mistake they're making?
I don't know if we call it, the real estate word I think we like to use is functional obsolescence, right? And, we haven't heard that word probably in a really long time, but it's some of that. These ones that sat had tandem garages. Ours had a 2-car split. So, it tends to be that maybe that's not the most favorable way people want to buy that house or that townhome, and then it's got a higher price market. So at the end of the day, I think it's price that really makes a difference, but then also I think it's the type of home that shows up too.
Sure. And is it checking those boxes?
And is it checking those boxes?
Sure. Okay, you mentioned price. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. We're seeing more price reductions.
Absolutely. I think that real estate agents right now, if they tell you they know the exact price your home's going to sell for, I think there's a myth. I think we're being honest with what we know the market says it's worth.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's what a buyer's willing to buy it for, what a seller's willing to sell it for, and that's home specific. I don't think it's even, you could say market specific. I don't think you could even say it's neighborhood specific, because that shows up with everything that I've given you in scenarios and what we've talked about is it just depends on the home. and does it check all the boxes, and is it right? And and then when you're off in price, it's being able as a seller to accept that the market didn't give you what it thought it was worth. The good news is 90% of the people in Charlotte and in our market have tons of equity to lean in on that with. So it's understanding that your net might not be what you thought it could be, but what it should be is still the fact that you're going to net a lot of money if you bought and sold and you hadn't done it recently.
Yeah. So many questions there.
Yeah.
It makes me think. So you've got these people moving in. We're talking about, like you said, a little bit more inventory, but we still have people moving into the area that are gobbling these houses up.
Yeah, like 160 a day, I think, are moving to Charlotte region.
Something crazy like
Some
that.
number like that, but it's insane. And and every offer I'm getting is not someone from Charlotte.
Interesting. So we're talking out of state. Where are you probably seeing the biggest flux?
Recently, it's been Dallas, Texas, Ohio, and California.
Okay.
So,
feel like-
and that's some job-related stuff, too, because,
Okay.
Red Bull just moved over here with a big firm from the Phyllis Morris factory. I believe Cedar Point just came over, and they're based in
Yeah.
Texas. So we've had a lot of large corporations doing relo over to Charlotte right now, and finding our commercial side has got a value for them right now. So it looks like we're getting some new, bigger firms to move to the area. So
That helps.
always helps
yeah,
us. Always
yeah.
props our market up a little differently than most.
I agree. Somebody even mentioned yesterday that we're a hub airport-wise as well.
Yeah.
You can get direct flights to a lot of places out of
A
Charlotte.
lot.
Yeah.
I use that a lot myself.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of that too.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to back up to the price
And we've
reductions.
just been the sixth largest in the world
When it comes to airports.
when it comes to airports.
Yeah.
So, and that stayed for a long time too. And they've added we just added a brand new runway. So, there's a lot happening at that
A
airport.
lot happening.
Yeah.
I want to back up to the price reductions
Yeah.
because then it made me think about kind of your price range. You have a very large price range.
Massive price range.
Yeah.
Anywhere from land at 30,000 to 1.4, 1.5 million is what we've sold the most of.
Yeah. So are you seeing a difference? Let's go all the way from land to maybe a average price point of like 450,000
Yeah.
all the way up to the $1 million homes. Is that different here in Charlotte? Are you seeing more or less movement, more or less price reductions? Tell me about that.
I feel like in the upper markets, in the luxury market, we're seeing slower time on market, definitely having to adjust the price heavier
Okay.
than we would in the other markets. Down in the 4s and the 3s, I think if it's priced right, functionally running well, it's pretty much coming on
It's gonna
the market
move.
and it's going to move. It's back to the typical 60 days or 30 days things. It's not necessarily the one day. But again, if it's one of the perfect ones, it's gone in a day.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we've got all these buyers coming in.
Yeah,
Everybody's looking for a deal.
right.
Still got these people. I love when people ask me. They're like, "Hey, what about those foreclosures? You guys got any foreclosures in Charlotte?"
You're right. What's that market?
What is that market? Not since you and I really have been in
Never
business.
felt it. Yeah,
No.
never felt that.
So tell me about those buyers, though. When you are looking, for that deal, like we just mentioned, let's say 400,000, maybe that first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those guys. What does the opportunity look like here in Charlotte for them?
It is unreal right now to me. I think it's probably the most poised, opportunistic market you could get at the greatest rates you'll find in real estate. If you think about the national average at 7%, we're sitting somewhere around 6.25%.
Come down.
And then you can say that you can pretty much guarantee a seller will accept your offer with a point buy down. You're meaning you could buy a house at 5.25 interest rate, $350,000. That's a pretty affordable home if you
Yeah.
put down minimal. And even that you can think of bringing just 3% to closing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is absolutely the cheapest time to buy a house in real estate. You can literally pay for your entire closing cost and move right in.
Okay, so are we seeing, again, I think of like the first-time home buyer looking for a deal.
Yeah.
I love the closing costs. We can get you some price reduction on that rate buy down.
Yeah.
What about the price drop from a home? Are we really seeing prices drop and decline in Charlotte?
No, the price of the home is not dropping. The concessions are increasing, but the price itself is not. And the appraisals are helping that kind of stay there too. Proof would be in that home that I helped with my first-time home buyer. It still went $5,000. It was actually $15,000 over list that it appraised for.
There you go.
So it's still holding in our market because of our purchase price, because of our demand. It's still allowing for appraisers to give us the purchase prices that we're looking for.
I think that's important. It's not, again, we're not seeing this big decline of, prices of homes are going down 10, 12%. We are not, in fact, seeing that.
I don't see it at all in our MLS numbers
No.
one bit.
But you mentioned it's the concessions or closing costs being paid. So tell me what kind of concessions for anybody maybe that doesn't understand, what would that show up like?
Yeah, so on the offer to purchase for North Carolina, the concessions are just really in there as a percentage of the purchase price or even a thought process around origination costs for the loan.
Okay.
So really having great one-on-one conversations about with the lender before you go into buying the house of like, what's this loan cost me, or what does my final monthly price look like? Because ultimately, I think that's the most important thing of everything.
Yeah.
Can I afford this monthly payment? Can my realtor negotiate that and help me bring it down? Because at the end of the day, the typical person's going to live in the home 7 to 10 years. We're not financing this thing for 30. And if you can get the rate and you can get your purchase price and you can get your mortgage amount where you need it to be, ultimately, that's what's going to be your year-over-year cost. The purchase price will always go up, right? We're going to get our 7% return in North Carolina. We're still seeing that in the Charlotte market. So we're not going to have a problem with you doing that over ownership of 7 years, seeing that still that rate of return. So again, I stay more focused on monthly mortgage
Yeah.
than I do purchase price.
And I know you've got great lenders that can help them with that discussion. And
Oh, we have so many lender partners to introduce
Cool.
them that motivated folks right here in our office, firm
Yeah.
firm greatness. I mean, it's just the choices behind that and the expertise behind that are unreal.
that's great. They just have to call you and ask some questions, and you
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we give them 3 great folks that they can jump right into and have great, hard, fun conversations too, and find the right fit for them. Because ultimately, I think that's important is interviewing just like an agent, figuring out who's going to flow with you.
Yeah.
Who's going to make you feel the most educated, who's going to give you the most support tools, and, offers an app to pay it after or doesn't sell it before, understanding what those things look like for you after the sale of the transaction.
It's funny because you brought up the rates, and again, I thought that little slogan that people were saying about date the rate. What
Yeah.
was it? Date the rate, buy the house, buy the house, date the rate.
Marry
Something.
the house. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Are we still in that same boat of? I mean, again, this morning they were 6.12, somewhere right in there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's always a funny thing because it's just a slogan. But then again, it's more about home ownership and creating the legacy that you want to do. To me,
Yes.
there's always going to be the 80-20 rule, right? When you buy a home. And that's the first thing I tell a home buyers, like, yeah, there might be a crack here. Is it a 1/4 inch wide? Yeah. Does it need some flashing up on the gutters? Yeah, that's home ownership. I think educating folks on what home ownership looks like and the expense behind it, however, also the net gain through net equity,
Yeah.
is so important to explaining the true value of a home. Saying slogans doesn't necessarily do anything except give you an opportunity to have a conversation, which we'd all love to do and have more
Yes.
of. It's just, are we giving them the true nitty gritty of what that means to them?
I love that because it's what you started out with in this conversation was how much money people have sitting in their house right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the city of Charlotte. I mean, home ownership from early and often was a big deal from, I would say, early 2000s to now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you bought then, you definitely found some big interest in equity.
I have one more question just based on time, but I'd love to go this direction with you. Speaking of that equity, are you seeing people pull some of that equity out and maybe doing some additional investing here in Charlotte?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, giving second home ownership with instant equity has been a great thing. Not only just in Charlotte, we're finding it, at the beach,
Yeah.
or in the mountains. Because, it's funny. I was looking at this research that over 80% of the people in North Carolina live in the Piedmont region. And so we're so hyper-focused because of Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro. It's where
Yeah.
we live, but we have so many great things on the beach and the mountains. And we have that access. It's an hour and a half to the mountains, 2.5 to the beach. So those second home opportunities are really kind of vital because then you can still experience the second home and rent it out later
100%.
and use it as Airbnbs for the folks that like to come and visit the Appalachias or enjoy our beautiful coastline. So
Yeah.
I think it's a really great opportunity when you have that equity to say, well, what am I doing with it? How can I help it grow? And then is it an opportunity to pull it out with the rates that we're seeing right now that could really help me 2x it, 3x it, 4x it?
I love that. Okay, so if somebody wants to talk about whether it's buying their first home, buying maybe a second home, or even selling, how do they reach you?
Yeah, it's easy. I'm Adam Sellars with the Queen City Sellers team. We're right here in Charlotte. You can find me on Instagram at Special Agent 704, which is one of my favorite handles. I'm also on TikTok at Special Agent 704. You can reach out to me at 980-288-9184. Adam at QueenCitySellers.com. And come and check us out. We'd love to, we have our Google My Business page, so you can hit us up on there. We're also tagged in all the fun things with the Queen City Sellers team. So.
I love it. Special agent, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you, Theresa.